Question 1. What is the first and most fundamental rule of firearm safety? A. Always store firearms in a locked container. B. Always keep the firearm pointed in a safe direction. C. Always keep your finger off the trigger until ready to shoot. D. Treat every firearm as if it were loaded. Answer: D. Treat every firearm as if it were loaded. Treating every firearm as if it were loaded is the foundational rule because it instills a mindset of constant vigilance and respect for the firearm's potential. This practice ensures that even if you believe a firearm is unloaded, you will still follow all other safety rules, like muzzle control and trigger discipline, preventing accidental discharges. For instance, before handling any firearm, always assume it can fire and perform a safety check. This rule sets the stage for all responsible firearm handling. Question 2. When clearing a malfunction, where should the muzzle of the firearm be pointed? A. Downrange, at the target. B. Towards the ground, away from others. C. Towards the ceiling, away from obstacles. D. In any direction, as long as your finger is off the trigger. Answer: B. Towards the ground, away from others. When clearing a malfunction, it is crucial to maintain control of the firearm and always keep its muzzle pointed in a safe direction, typically towards the ground or a designated backstop, away from yourself and others. This ensures that if the malfunction results in an unexpected discharge, no person is injured, and property damage is minimized. Always remember that a firearm with a malfunction can still be dangerous, so handle it with the same caution as a fully functional one. Question 3. What is the primary purpose of a firearm safety device, such as a trigger lock or cable lock? A. To make the firearm lighter for transport. B. To prevent unauthorized persons, especially children, from firing the weapon. C. To improve the firearm's accuracy. D. To protect the firearm from dust and debris. Answer: B. To prevent unauthorized persons, especially children, from firing the weapon. The primary purpose of a firearm safety device, like a trigger lock or cable lock, is to prevent unauthorized access and discharge, especially by children or individuals who should not handle the firearm. By rendering the firearm inoperable, these devices add a critical layer of safety, significantly reducing the risk of accidental shootings or misuse. Always use a safety device in conjunction with safe storage practices to maximize security. Question 4. Before cleaning a firearm, what is the most important step to ensure safety? A. Gather all cleaning supplies. B. Read the owner's manual for cleaning instructions. C. Verify the firearm is unloaded and clear of all ammunition. D. Put on eye protection and gloves. Answer: C. Verify the firearm is unloaded and clear of all ammunition. Before starting any cleaning or maintenance, it is absolutely essential to verify that the firearm is completely unloaded and cleared of all ammunition, including checking the chamber and magazine. This critical step eliminates the risk of an accidental discharge during handling, ensuring that the firearm cannot fire while it is being disassembled or worked on. Never assume a firearm is unloaded, always physically check to confirm it. Question 5. How should ammunition be stored to comply with basic safety practices? A. With the firearm, as long as both are locked. B. Separately from the firearm, in a secure location. C. In a cool, dry place, exposed for easy access. D. In an unlocked container, for quick loading. Answer: B. Separately from the firearm, in a secure location. Ammunition should always be stored separately from the firearm itself and in a secure, locked location to prevent unauthorized access. This practice minimizes the chance of an accidental shooting by making it more difficult for someone, especially a child, to obtain both a firearm and ammunition simultaneously. Keeping them apart adds an extra layer of protection, preventing a firearm from being loaded and discharged inadvertently. Question 6. When carrying a firearm in a vehicle in California, how must it generally be transported? A. loaded and concealed under a seat. B. Unloaded and openly visible on the dashboard. C. Unloaded and in a locked container, separate from ammunition. D. Loaded and in an unlocked case in the trunk. Answer: C. Unloaded and in a locked container, separate from ammunition. In California, handguns must generally be transported unloaded and locked in a container, and this container should be separate from any ammunition, if possible, to enhance safety and comply with state law. This requirement ensures that the firearm is not readily accessible for immediate use and reduces the risk of accidental discharge during transport. Always remember to check specific local ordinances in addition to state law for firearm transportation. Question 7. What does target identification mean in the context of firearm safety? A. Knowing the exact distance to your target. B. Confirming what you intend to shoot is indeed your target and that nothing else is in the line of fire. C. Ensuring your target is made of an approved material. D. Being able to quickly acquire your target. Answer: B. Confirming what you intend to shoot is indeed your target and that nothing else is in the line of fire. Target identification is a crucial aspect of the "be sure of your target and what is beyond it" rule, meaning you must positively identify your intended target and confirm that no innocent people or objects are in or near your line of fire. This prevents tragic accidents where a bullet might strike an unintended person or object behind or next to the target. Always take the extra moment to confirm your target and its surroundings before taking a shot. Question 8. What is the recommended practice for handling a firearm when someone approaches you to look at it? A. Pass it to them with the muzzle pointed up. B. Keep your finger on the trigger to show readiness. C. Clear the firearm, keep the muzzle in a safe direction, and pass it with the action open. D. Only pass it if it's already in a locked case. Answer: C. Clear the firearm, keep the muzzle in a safe direction, and pass it with the action open. When someone wants to inspect your firearm, it is essential to first clear it by removing all ammunition and opening the action to visually and physically confirm it is unloaded, then keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction before passing it. This demonstrates respect for safety and unequivocally shows the firearm is incapable of firing, preventing any misunderstanding or accidental discharge. Always ensure the recipient also confirms the firearm's unloaded status. Question 9. Why is it important to use eye and ear protection when shooting? A. To improve your aim and concentration. B. To prevent hearing loss and eye injury from ejected casings or debris. C. To keep dust out of your eyes and ears. D. To comply with fashion trends at the shooting range. Answer: B. To prevent hearing loss and eye injury from ejected casings or debris. Eye and ear protection are absolutely essential when shooting to prevent permanent damage from the loud noise of gunfire and potential eye injury from ejected spent casings, gunpowder residue, or ricocheting debris. Hearing protection, like earmuffs or earplugs, safeguards against noise-induced hearing loss, while safety glasses protect your vision from unexpected hazards. Always prioritize your personal safety by wearing appropriate protection. Question 10. When should your finger be placed inside the trigger guard? A. As soon as you pick up the firearm. B. Only when your sights are on the target and you have made the decision to shoot. C. While walking to the firing line. D. When checking if the safety mechanism is engaged. Answer: B. Only when your sights are on the target and you have made the decision to shoot. Your finger should only enter the trigger guard and be placed on the trigger when your sights are aligned with the target and you have made a conscious decision to fire the weapon. This is a critical rule of trigger discipline that prevents negligent discharges, ensuring that the firearm only fires when intentionally directed at a target. Always keep your finger straight and off the trigger until you are ready to shoot. Question 11. What is the safest way to store a firearm in a home with children? A. In an unlocked cabinet, with ammunition stored separately. B. Loaded, but hidden under a bed. C. Unloaded, locked, and stored separately from ammunition, with keys secured. D. On a high shelf, out of reach. Answer, C. Unloaded, locked, and stored separately from ammunition, with keys secured. The safest way to store a firearm in a home with children is to keep it unloaded, secured with a locking device, like a trigger or cable lock, and then placed in a separate, locked container or safe, with ammunition stored in a different, equally secure location and the keys to all locks securely hidden. This multi-layered approach makes it extremely difficult for children or unauthorized individuals to gain access to a loaded firearm, significantly reducing the risk of tragic accidents. Your diligence in securing firearms protects lives. Question 12. What action should you take if your firearm fails to fire when the trigger is pulled? A. Immediately point it at the ground and pull the trigger again. B. Maintain muzzle discipline, keep it pointed in a safe direction, and wait a few moments for a hang fire. C. Hand it to another person to inspect. D. Disassemble it immediately to clear the chamber. Answer, B. Maintain muzzle discipline, keep it pointed in a safe direction, and wait a few moments for a hang fire. If a firearm fails to fire when the trigger is pulled, you should maintain strict muzzle discipline, keeping it pointed in a safe direction, often downrange, and wait a few seconds, typically 30 seconds for a hang fire. A hang fire is a delayed ignition of the primer, meaning the round could still discharge unexpectedly, so treating it with caution is paramount. After waiting, carefully clear the malfunction while keeping the muzzle pointed safely. Question 13. Which of the following is considered an unsafe practice at a shooting range? A. Wearing appropriate eye and ear protection. B. Keeping your firearm unloaded until on the firing line. C. Turning around with a loaded firearm during a ceasefire. D. Following all instructions from the range safety officer. Answer, C. Turning around with a loaded firearm during a ceasefire. Turning around or moving with a loaded firearm during a ceasefire is an extremely unsafe practice at a shooting range, as it violates fundamental rules of muzzle control and can endanger others. During a ceasefire, all firearms must be unloaded, made safe, and placed down, and no one should handle firearms until the range is declared hot again. Always comply immediately and fully with range commands to ensure everyone's safety. Question 14. What does the term safe direction primarily refer to when handling a firearm? A. Towards an empty wall. B. Any direction away from yourself. C. A direction where an accidental discharge would cause no injury to people and minimum property damage. D. Towards the target, regardless of whether you're ready to shoot. Answer, C. A direction where an accidental discharge would cause no injury to people and minimum property damage. A safe direction means pointing the firearm's muzzle in a path where, should an accidental discharge occur, no one would be injured, and property damage would be minimal. This could be towards a sturdy floor, an empty wall with a safe backstop, or a designated downrange area. Always thinking about where the bullet would go if the firearm discharged is critical for preventing tragic accidents. Question 15. Why should you never rely solely on a mechanical safety device to prevent an accidental discharge? A. They are designed only for storage, not active handling. B. Mechanical safeties can fail or be accidentally disengaged. C. They slow down the firing process too much. D. They are often too complex for beginners to use. Answer, B. Mechanical safeties can fail or be accidentally disengaged. It is crucial never to rely solely on a mechanical safety device because these mechanisms can fail due to mechanical issues or be inadvertently disengaged, leading to an accidental discharge. Instead, always adhere to all 4 fundamental rules of firearm safety, including muzzle control and trigger discipline, as these personal habits provide the most reliable protection against accidents. A safety device is an aid, not a substitute for safe handling practices. Question 16. If you find a firearm, what is the first thing you should do? A. Pick it up and check if it's loaded. B. Leave it alone, do not touch it, and immediately notify law enforcement or a responsible adult. C. Secure it in a safe place. D. Point it in the air to see if it fires. Answer: B. Leave it alone, do not touch it, and immediately notify law enforcement or a responsible adult. If you find a firearm, the absolute first thing you should do is to leave it alone, do not touch it, and immediately notify law enforcement or a responsible adult about its location. Attempting to handle an unfamiliar firearm can be extremely dangerous as you don't know its condition, whether it's loaded, or if it has any mechanical issues. Prioritize your safety by not touching it and getting professional help. Question 17. What is the correct way to hand a firearm to another person? A. Loaded and ready to shoot, to show its functionality. B. With the safety on and the magazine inserted. C. Unloaded, with the action open, and the muzzle pointed in a safe direction. D. By the barrel, so they can easily grasp the grip. Answer: C. Unloaded, with the action open, and the muzzle pointed in a safe direction. When handing a firearm to another person, it is essential to first ensure it is completely unloaded, with the action open to visually confirm its empty status, and always keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction. This practice provides unambiguous proof that the firearm is safe to handle and prevents any accidental discharges during the transfer. The person receiving the firearm should also visually confirm it is unloaded. Question 18. Why should you avoid consuming alcohol or drugs before or during firearm handling? A. It can slow your reaction time, making you less accurate. B. It enhances focus, making you a better shot. C. It can impair judgment, coordination, and vision, increasing the risk of an accident. D. It is generally not recommended for any sporting activity. Answer: C. It can impair judgment, coordination, and vision, increasing the risk of an accident. Consuming alcohol or drugs before or during firearm handling is extremely dangerous because these substances severely impair judgment, coordination, and vision, significantly increasing the risk of a negligent discharge or accident. Responsible firearm ownership demands complete sobriety and clear mental faculties to ensure safe and accurate handling. Never mix firearms with alcohol or drugs, your life and the lives of others depend on it. Question 19. What should you do before handling any firearm, even if you just saw someone else check it? A. Assume it's safe because someone else checked it. B. Check the firearm's operation, but don't worry about the chamber. C. Open the action and visually and physically check that it is unloaded. D. Keep your finger on the trigger until you confirm it's unloaded. Answer: C. Open the action and visually and physically check that it is unloaded. Regardless of who previously handled a firearm or what they said, you should always open the action and visually and physically check that it is unloaded every single time you pick it up. This personal verification is a non-negotiable step in firearm safety, embodying the "treat every firearm as if it were loaded" rule, and ensures you are fully aware of its condition before proceeding. Always confirm an empty chamber and magazine yourself. Question 20. When storing a firearm and ammunition, what is the best practice for ensuring maximum security? A. Store them together in an unlocked closet. B. Keep the firearm loaded and ready for quick access. C. Store both the firearm and ammunition in separate, locked containers. D. Hide them in different places, but without locks. Answer: C. Store both the firearm and ammunition in separate, locked containers. For maximum security, the best practice is to store both the firearm and its ammunition in separate, locked containers, making them inaccessible to unauthorized individuals, especially children. This two-pronged approach ensures that even if one secure location is breached, the other component is still protected, significantly reducing the chance of an accidental shooting. Secure storage is a critical responsibility of firearm ownership. Question 21. What does "hang fire" refer to in shooting? A. A round that fails to eject after firing. B. A condition where the primer ignites, but there is a delay before the powder charge ignites and the bullet exits the barrel. C. A round that misfeeds into the chamber. D. A bullet that gets lodged in the barrel. Answer: B. A condition where the primer ignites, but there is a delay before the powder charge ignites and the bullet exits the barrel. A hang fire refers to a dangerous condition where the primer ignites when the trigger is pulled, but there is a noticeable delay before the main powder charge ignites and the bullet actually leaves the barrel. Because the round could still fire unexpectedly after a delay, it is crucial to keep the firearm pointed in a safe direction for at least 30 seconds if a round fails to fire, rather than immediately opening the action. Question 22. Which of the following is crucial for preventing a ricochet? A. Using a higher caliber ammunition. B. Being aware of your target and what is beyond it, and understanding the surface you are shooting into. C. Shooting at a downward angle. D. Only shooting indoors. Answer: B. Being aware of your target and what is beyond it, and understanding the surface you are shooting into. Preventing a ricochet, where a bullet strikes a surface and deflects off it at an unpredictable angle, is crucial for safety and directly relates to the rule, be sure of your target and what is beyond it. This means you must understand the material of your target and its backstop, avoiding hard, flat surfaces or water that can cause bullets to bounce dangerously. Always choose targets and backstops that will safely absorb or contain projectiles. Question 23. Why should you never use a firearm as a club or tool for any purpose other than shooting? A. It can scratch the finish of the firearm. B. It could damage the firearm's components and make it unsafe to fire. C. It will make the firearm less accurate. D. It might attract unwanted attention. Answer: B. It could damage the firearm's components and make it unsafe to fire. Using a firearm as a club or tool for any purpose other than its intended use as a projectile launcher is dangerous because it can damage critical internal or external components, potentially making the firearm unsafe to operate. Such damage could lead to malfunctions, accidental discharges, or even catastrophic failure when fired. Treat firearms with respect as precision instruments, not blunt objects. Question 24. What is the significance of the action open when a firearm is on the firing line during a ceasefire? A. It indicates the firearm is ready to be loaded. B. It allows for cooling of the barrel. C. It provides a clear visual and physical indicator that the firearm is unloaded and safe. D. It is a sign that the shooter needs assistance. Answer: C. It provides a clear visual and physical indicator that the firearm is unloaded and safe. When a firearm is on the firing line during a ceasefire, keeping the action open, e.g., slide locked back, cylinder open, is paramount because it provides a clear visual and physical indication to everyone that the firearm is unloaded and rendered safe. This transparency reassures others on the range that the firearm cannot accidentally discharge, allowing people to safely go downrange to inspect targets. Always make your firearm visually safe during a ceasefire. Question 25. What is the proper procedure for loading a firearm? A. Load it at your vehicle before entering the range. B. Load it only on the firing line, when pointed downrange and you are ready to shoot. C. Load it at home, so it's ready upon arrival. D. Load it while talking to others, as long as it's pointed down. Answer: B. Load it only on the firing line, when pointed downrange and you are ready to shoot. The proper and safest procedure for loading a firearm is to do so only on the firing line, when instructed or permitted, and with the muzzle pointed safely downrange at the target, just as you are ready to shoot. This controlled environment ensures that if an accidental discharge were to occur during the loading process, the bullet would travel into a designated safe area. Never load a firearm away from the firing line or a designated safe zone. Question 26. Which of the following is a key element of, be sure of your target and what is beyond it? A. Being aware of any potential bystanders, structures, or objects that could be struck by a bullet or fragments after passing through the target. B. having a clear view of your target without obstructions. C. Knowing the ballistic coefficient of your chosen bullet. D. Using an appropriate size target for the distance. Answer: A. Being aware of any potential bystanders, structures, or objects that could be struck by a bullet or fragments after passing through the target. A key element of "be sure of your target and what is beyond it" is the critical responsibility to be fully aware of everything that lies behind your intended target, including potential bystanders, structures, or objects that could be struck by a bullet or fragments. This foresight prevents collateral damage and tragic injuries from overpenetration or ricochets, reinforcing the need to always have a safe backstop. Never take a shot if you are unsure of what is behind your target. Question 27. What is the recommended way to maintain control of your firearm when you are not actively shooting? A. Keep it in a holster on your person, even when at home. B. Store it unloaded and locked, separate from ammunition. C. Keep it loaded and within arm's reach for self-defense. D. Lay it on a table, pointed in a general direction. Answer: B. Store it unloaded and locked, separate from ammunition. When you are not actively shooting, the recommended way to maintain control and ensure safety is to store the firearm unloaded and secured with a lock, separate from its ammunition. This practice effectively prevents unauthorized access and accidental discharges, particularly crucial in homes with children or curious visitors. Secure storage is an integral part of responsible firearm ownership. Question 28. What should you do immediately if a firearm falls or is dropped? A. Pick it up quickly to prevent further damage. B. Leave it alone and call for assistance. C. Keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction, then retrieve it and perform a safety check. D. Check if anyone was hurt, then pick it up. Answer: C. Keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction, then retrieve it and perform a safety check. If a firearm falls or is dropped, the immediate action should be to ensure the muzzle remains pointed in a safe direction, and then carefully retrieve it and perform a thorough safety check to confirm it is unloaded and has not sustained any damage that could make it unsafe to fire. Dropping a firearm can potentially cause an accidental discharge or damage critical components, so extreme caution and inspection are necessary. Always treat dropped firearms with heightened awareness. Question 29. What is a cold range? A. A range where only airsoft guns are allowed. B. A range where no firearms are loaded, and actions are open. C. A range where shooters only practice drawing from a holster. D. A range that is not heated. Answer: B. A range where no firearms are loaded, and actions are open. A cold range is a designated state at a shooting facility where no firearms are permitted to be loaded, all actions must be open, and firearms are typically cased or placed in designated safe areas. This condition ensures maximum safety for all participants, especially when individuals need to move downrange to change targets or conduct maintenance. Always confirm the range status before handling any firearm. Question 30. Which personal protective equipment, PPE, is universally required on a shooting range? A. Gloves and a hat. B. A ballistic vest. C. Eye protection and hearing protection. D. Knee pads and elbow pads. Answer: C. Eye protection and hearing protection. Eye protection and hearing protection are universally required and absolutely essential personal protective equipment, PPE, on any shooting range. Hearing protection safeguards against permanent noise-induced hearing loss, while safety glasses protect your eyes from gas, debris, and errant projectiles. Prioritizing these two items prevents common and severe injuries associated with live-fire activities. Question 31. What is the safest way to store a loaded firearm for personal defense within the home if immediate access is desired? A. On a nightstand, easily accessible. B. In a quick-access safe, unloaded, with ammunition readily available. C. In a quick-access safe, loaded, accessible only by the authorized user. D. Hidden in a drawer, ready to go? Answer: C. In a quick access safe, loaded, accessible only by the authorized user. For personal defense within the home where immediate access is desired, the safest method to store a loaded firearm is in a quick access safe that is securely mounted and accessible only by the authorized user, such as with a biometric or keypad lock. This balance allows for rapid deployment in an emergency while preventing unauthorized access, especially by children, combining safety with readiness. Never leave a loaded firearm unsecured in the home. Question 32. What should be done with a firearm that appears to be broken or malfunctioning before attempting to use it? A. Attempt to fix it yourself with household tools. B. Test fire it a few times to see if it clears up. C. Take it to a qualified gunsmith for inspection and repair. D. Disassemble it completely and put it back together. Answer: C. Take it to a qualified gunsmith for inspection and repair. If a firearm appears broken, damaged, or is consistently malfunctioning, it should immediately be rendered safe, cleared of all ammunition, and taken to a qualified gunsmith for professional inspection and repair. Attempting to use or self-repair a damaged firearm can be extremely dangerous, potentially leading to a catastrophic failure or accidental discharge. Trust an expert to ensure its safe operation. Question 33. When should you verify the correct ammunition for your firearm? A. Just before firing the first shot. B. Only when loading a new box of ammunition. C. Every time you load the firearm. D. When purchasing the firearm. Answer: C. Every time you load the firearm. You should verify the correct ammunition for your firearm every single time you load it, not just when opening a new box. Double-checking the caliber or gauge on both the ammunition and the firearm prevents serious accidents, such as a bore obstruction or chambering the wrong cartridge, which can cause catastrophic firearm failure and injury. Always match the ammunition to the firearm's chamber. Question 34. Why is it important to keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction even when the firearm is unloaded? A. To practice good habits that apply to loaded firearms. B. It helps keep the firearm clean. C. It prevents rust from forming in the barrel. D. It makes the firearm easier to handle. Answer: A. To practice good habits that apply to loaded firearms. It is crucial to always keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction, even when you know the firearm is unloaded, because this practice reinforces the essential habit of muzzle control for when it is loaded. This consistent discipline, aligned with the rule, treat every firearm as if it were loaded, ensures that safe handling becomes instinctual and prevents accidental discharges should your assumption of an unloaded firearm be incorrect. Question 35. What is the primary reason for proper firearm storage? A. To maintain the firearm's finish. B. To prevent theft. C. To prevent unauthorized access and accidental injury. D. To keep it easily accessible for emergencies. Answer: C. To prevent unauthorized access and accidental injury. The primary reason for proper firearm storage is to prevent unauthorized access, particularly by children or individuals who should not handle firearms, and thereby eliminate the risk of accidental injury or death. Secure storage, such as in a locked safe with ammunition stored separately, is a cornerstone of responsible firearm ownership and a legal requirement in many jurisdictions. Always prioritize safety through responsible storage. Question 36. What is the danger of bore obstruction? A. It makes the firearm difficult to clean. B. It can cause the barrel to rupture when fired, leading to serious injury. C. It makes the bullet fly off target. D. It increases the firearm's recoil. Answer: B. It can cause the barrel to rupture when fired, leading to serious injury. A bore obstruction occurs when something blocks the firearm's barrel, like a squib load, a bullet stuck in the barrel, or debris, and firing another round behind it creates immense pressure, potentially causing the barrel to rupture catastrophically. This can lead to severe injury to the shooter or bystanders from fragments. Always inspect your barrel for obstructions before firing and clear any squib loads immediately. Question 37. When transporting a handgun in a vehicle in California, what constitutes a locked container? A. The glove compartment or center console, if locked. B. Any container that can be locked, regardless of material. C. A container that completely encloses the firearm and is locked, such as a trunk, hard-sided case, or soft-sided case with a lock. D. A backpack with a zipper. Answer: C. A container that completely encloses the firearm and is locked, such as a trunk, hard-sided case, or soft-sided case with a lock. In California, a locked container for transporting a handgun must completely enclose the firearm and be secured with a lock. This includes the trunk of a vehicle, if it has no passenger seating, a hard-sided case, or even a soft-sided case that can be locked, such as with a padlock or key. The glove compartment or center console generally do not qualify unless they are factory-installed locking containers and are designed to be inaccessible while driving. Always ensure your handgun is unloaded and in a compliant locked container. Question 38. What is the proper reaction if you witness someone engaging in unsafe firearm handling? A. Ignore it, as it's not your responsibility. B. Loudly yell at them to stop. C. Discreetly and respectfully inform them of the safety violation or notify a range officer. D. Immediately leave the area. Answer: C. Discreetly and respectfully inform them of the safety violation or notify a range officer. If you witness someone engaging in unsafe firearm handling, the proper and responsible reaction is to discreetly and respectfully inform them of the safety violation or, if at a range, immediately notify a range officer. Addressing unsafe behavior calmly and effectively can prevent accidents and reinforce good safety practices within the shooting community. Your intervention could save a life. Question 39. What is a ceasefire command on a shooting range? A. An instruction to stop shooting and reload your magazines. B. An order to immediately stop all shooting, unload firearms, make them safe, and step back from the firing line. C. A signal that the range is now open for rapid firing. D. A recommendation to take a break from shooting. Answer: B. An order to immediately stop all shooting, unload firearms, make them safe, and step back from the firing line. A ceasefire command is a critical safety order on a shooting range that requires everyone to immediately stop all shooting, unload their firearms, make them visually safe, e.g., action open, and step back from the firing line. This command is given to allow for target changes, range maintenance, or to address safety concerns, and strict adherence is absolutely essential for everyone's well-being. Always drop your firearms safely and await further instructions. Question 40. Why is it important to ensure a firearms action is open when clearing a malfunction? A. To allow for better airflow and prevent overheating. B. To clearly demonstrate that the firearm is unloaded and safe to handle. C. To make it easier to see the internal components. D. To prevent the firearm from being accidentally reloaded. Answer: B. To clearly demonstrate that the firearm is unloaded and safe to handle. When clearing a malfunction, opening the firearm's action, e.g., locking the slide back or opening the cylinder, is important because it provides a clear visual and physical indicator that the firearm is unloaded and safe to handle. This transparency reassures both the person clearing the malfunction and anyone nearby that the firearm cannot fire unexpectedly during the process, embodying the treat every firearm as if it were loaded principle. Always visually and physically confirm the chamber is empty.